Welcome to the interview. The battle for the Élysée is eventually coming to an end. François Hollande and Nicolas Sarkozy will face French choices next Sunday, but May 6 is also a D-Day when it comes to Greece, as voters will turn to polls to elect their new parliament. From Paris to Athens, can this week be a turning point in politics? And how far citizens can take power back with web campaigns and social media? That's one of the many questions we're going to ask to our guest today. Thanatis Priftis, thanks for being with us today. You're a political and digital expert, and you're running the web campaign for the PASOK, the Greek Socialist Party. You're embedded here in France at François Hollande headquarters with his web team, and you're following very closely this ballot. So first question, very simple. What is your perspective on this second round in France?
Thank you for the invitation. The second round in France will be a remarkable round because it will speak at the same time about Europe, but also it will speak about France. I think that France cannot escape this discussion about what will happen to Europe in general, and this kind of questions like development and so on will pass through Europe for France also. So it will be a very interesting week to see how the candidates will try to tackle the issue of Europe, which is solidarity in Europe, a new Europe, and how they'll try to present their plan for the next day of after the 6th of May.
You're a digital expert. How do you see both candidates doing online?
I have followed very closely the campaign of François Hollande, and I can tell you an inside joke, share with you an inside joke if you want. There has been, I've met around 50, 60 people. Each one of them has an idea for the final video of the campaign. I mean, this is unbelievable how motivated people are and how much they like and they enjoy what they're doing right now in this campaign. So speaking about the campaign François Hollande, it's important to say that they have shared a lot of their resources. We have learned many things with them, and I think it makes a very good image of how the future president himself should run this country in order to change take place.
And how will it be?
It will be this new governance, let's say, idea has incited a lot of courage, a lot of sharing of information, sharing of talent, and has also a lot of efficacy. It has to be efficient, it has to receive many things like how do you organize yourself, how do you see resources, how do you think of each one and every resource that we have right now in our hands. So, but to achieve that, it means that you must have a lot of imagination. And this is a campaign with imagination, and that's very important.
And mobilization is a very important trend this year when it comes to online politics. How do you turn supporters into actual voters?
Actually, it's very simple. You let on the door a small sign that you visited them. And this is a very good idea that, in fact, that you have to let a sign that you have been to people, even if you're not actually spoken to them. Because even when you open the door and you speak to someone, which I've done for the last days, you're not sure that you'll convince him with your arguments, with your 1 or 2 minutes that you will share with you, for your discussion. So what you have to do, you have to be persistent. You have to keep going back, and you have to let the mark a discreet but very realistic mark that you were there and that you want him, the person that is against you or in front of you, that you want him to vote.
Apart from the way how candidates use social media, maybe the most interesting story this year in 2012 is how electors, how voters are empowering themselves through social media. Do you see differences from that perspective when it comes to e-voters from Greece to France?
Yes, there are differences, that's clear. One of the main things that I've noticed in the French internet, let's say, but looking from my own angle, my own perspective, is that it's much more mainstream. Let's say that there are the main media, they have a very powerful saying, and there are lines that we seem to follow in the mainstream campaigns. And this is something which is very organized, and of course the discussion takes place parallel in these things, but it's something which is it seems quite organized. When it comes in Greece, things are much more less formal in a way. And even the institutions that try to influence the internet, they remain sometimes much more formal, much more informal. So the discussion itself stays at a different level than the one of France.
Let's go a little bit deeper into digital politics. The austerity protests, when it comes to Greece, have been closely followed online. Social media has also been a key engine when it comes to mobilizing protesters. Does it impact, or how does it impact, in fact, the campaign in the making?
It empowers. It doesn't impact in the sense that it creates only the desire, but it also empowers the desire to be expressed or to be organized. And I will give you the example of the biggest demonstration that happened in Greece the last years. It was hundreds of thousands of people just randomly around Athens, around the town. Of course, there are violence, but also there are many people just walking around Athens with not having a specific goal to arrive somewhere or to do something. And this demonstration happened with not one coordination. It was through the social media, but also it was a feeling that you knew that that day you should go outside. You should go outside and be in the demonstration because there was something that was happening. And there was no central control of this demonstration, neither from parties, neither from syndicates. So it's very important to remember that we are entering in a phase where things are, let's say, they appear to be non-political. The classical political definition that we have, it's not enough. We need new tools to understand what's happening in this non-political situation. But when I say non-political, don't imagine that there is no discussion. On the contrary, there's an ongoing discussion.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to this parliamentary election in Greece, 32 parties have been allowed to present candidates running for election. How does it affect PASOK?
PASOK will assume the punishment that will take place because of non-decisions and things that were not done for the last 20 years, but also with Nea Demokratia, which were the two major political parties, they will be punished. And that's something that we know and we expect. The only point is that we have to be very careful because in punishment there is another side, which is the self-punishment. And we must not try to see this an opportunity to also to a self-punishment and to lead the country in some kind of a chaos, in a political chaos. So we expect the results that are coming, but at the same time we are very ready for them because we've decided that our campaign now will last in the time. 6th of May, it's an important milestone, but it's not the day that will stop us from campaigning. It is a day that our campaign will just change and it will become something else, something more flexible, something more in the society, but we will continue every day, even after the 6th of May.
So you're way more focused on the day after, on May the 7th, for instance?
We are doing everything that we can for the May of 6th. That's clear. We want to have a good result. We will have a good result. We have applied many techniques and people are following us again, and we are again on the streets and speaking with people. The difference is that we know that we must not stop. We must not stop on the 6th of May. We have the 7th of May to stop for one day, think of what happened, and directly relaunch ourselves in a new campaign.
Two last ministers entered the previous government. They actually left this government on the past February. Does it mean that now every single elected official or government in Europe needs the far right to govern?
I think we should refocus on what is there to say we have to focus on the actual plans that you have to govern. It's very important that now we pass to plans and with decisions that are really changing the country itself. We cannot just categorize people. We cannot just put signs on them and say, okay, you are that and not that. No, we need to have actions, but not actions that are hasty, not actions that are just focusing on the finance side of the situation. We have to focus on social issues. We have to focus on methods that are making people speak more and participate more.
The European Socialist Party might see in FrancoisHollande win a turning point for the left expansion, let's call it that way, in Europe. What is your perspective and how would you sum up the outcome, whatever it will be on May 6th, both for Greece and France?
The new Europe has to be a solidary Europe. That has to be very clear from every candidate. That's why I started also before saying that we need a new Europe which is solidary. This is very important in order to have a new political project for Europe. And this is exactly what we need to work more. And we will need to work on a political project that will have new ways of participating in its project for citizens to participate, but also it will have a new way to distribute resources. And it's not only financial resources, they can be different kind of resources. And again, to come back to the campaign of FrancoisHollande, it was very interesting how they shared the things and the resources that they had with us and with other European socialist parties.
And can the internet play a role, play a part in this new Europe?
Definitely, but the internet is already there. Different is already playing this role. The internet is already has a very important impact on the real life, on the physical life. So that's why we shouldn't separate it. It is be a movement which is political on the internet, outside of the internet, here, there, everywhere.
Many, many thanks, Thanatis Proustis, for your perspective on this French and Greek election, and also your experience from the digital and politics world and way campaigning. Stay with us, some more news to come here on France 24.